Loading snacks.
Huh? What it do? Snackers, snackettes, and snack X's. It's your boy Gage. I'm here with Jokes and Sin, and it is time for a final episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys!
Happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen. It's Thanksgiving for us. It's Monday for y'all.
Thanksgiving.
It's a little different. All right, listen, we're getting ready to get into the final episode of Andor. What do you think, gentlemen? Let's talk this episode and then do overall impressions. Is that of the season of the series?
Yeah.
Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Can we swing that in an hour?
I think we can do it. I think we have the skills to pull that off.
All right, let's make it happen. Let's go around the horn. Jokes. Give me a grade for this episode.
This gets an 8 from me.
Sin?
7.
I'm teetering between a 6 and a 7.
That's where I was, but I decided to bump it up to a 7.
I'm teetering between a 6 and a 7, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm thinking it's more of a 6. But we'll see how that squares out in the next 20 minutes or so. Look, I don't think I want to spend this episode trying to detail like the story as it goes along. I just want to talk about what happened, what the plot points are, what we like, what we didn't like. So I think that'll be more efficient in terms of getting through the episode and then getting into the season as a whole. So Jokes, you're at an 8. What makes this an 8 for you?
I really enjoy the anticipation from the beginning of the episode, kind of moving through the whole entire thing. Like, to me, it just seemed like, we were, I will say I was partially let down a little bit as we were building to what seemed like was going to be like this grand battle of sorts that was going to happen. All of our like main characters, you could see everyone was starting to show up on the planet, so you could start to see the pieces were being put into place. And I was expecting that great final battle type of thing. I mean, we technically got a, I guess you could quote unquote final battle.
Right.
It was a little underwhelming. But I like the way that the pieces were being put in place to kind of lead us into that direction. We necessarily didn't get more information, I guess you could say, as we were leading up to the ending of the show, except until we get to the very end of it. This was kind of just like the culmination of just, we need to get Andor. We know where he's going to be at, so let's just all get to the same point to get after this dude, whether it be I don't even want to say quote unquote bad guys, because everyone wanted to kill Andor pretty much at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that was the point, right? was to kill Slim. Sin?
Let's see here. I do agree with Jokes where like it was lackluster. I think what we were looking forward to. I like how they were building up during the last episode. I'm like, okay, it's still slow to me, but like, okay, we're building up. You got the dramatic music and everything is going, and then by the time like it's all over, I'm like this is it. Like, really, like I did love his mother's speech though from Beyond. I thought that was just great, and her being the one.
It was riveting, bro.
Yeah, and her being the one to kick it all off. I thought that was like kind of spot on, because she wanted to fight back the whole time, but you know what I mean. It was tough. So for her to spark that from her passing, I thought was great. But other than that, like, yeah, it just was lackluster from what I guess we were expecting it to be. You know what I mean? Like the whole him returning and everybody's looking for him and all this stuff, and it just wasn't landing like I wanted it to. And then I'm not sure how I feel about the ending of it. Like I wasn't necessarily happy with the kind of cliffhanger kind of ending they did with us there.
I hate it.
Yeah, like that.
I hate it, bro.
The second,
I'm sure how I feel about it. I hate it.
When it was happening, like I sat up on the couch. That was like the first time I sat. I was like, hey,
Oh,
right now, and the show went off. I was like, are you shitting me? It's like, okay, I'm just gonna go play something else. Like, I'm just, yeah. But that's me on the finale. You go ahead, sir.
You know, the majority of this episode I feel like is really, really well constructed. I do. I think Jokes, you hit on it. I think that like the timing and the pacing, the antsiness of like them kind of using the little underground tunnel and like, you know, Andor's arrival on the planet. Like he just like shows up. Like they don't show him to get there. He's just there. You know what I mean? Which is how they did it the last time he just showed up when he went back, you know. But you know, it's like everybody's keeping an eye on everybody and who's watching who, and like there is this kind of really good kind of crossover, you know what I mean? Like just of again, it all culminating in this one spot, right? Like we're back where not really where it started, because it started on a different planet. But you know, all of this is because, you know, I guess two wannabe officers got too drunk at a strip club. You know what I mean? Like all of this is because they just got a little too mouthy, you know what I mean, in the street and picked the wrong one. Like real talk.
Y'all follow
what's
that,
happening right now. Like it's kind of strange to me that the idea of like the rebel kickoff comes down to two weak ass security guards deciding to fuck around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it. You know,
they found out
like,
real quick.
They found out, and like now, the whole empire about to find out. Like, it's just it's a little strange, right? But there's things I like about that kind of thing. That like, I'm a firm believer in like the butterfly effect, and how like the smallest change, the littlest thing can lead to the biggest differences, right? And so something as simple as that, dog, just kind of opening your mouth and being in that spot, how it leads to so much other stuff. And so I'm cool with it. Like the anticipation again is people are showing up, they're getting ready for the funeral. Now Dedra's there and she's going back and forth. You don't see what happens to Anto Krieger. They just kind of mention it and like show on screen. You do finally see that like the limo driver for Mon Mothma is a plant.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's like here and gone. You know what I mean? And we haven't seen that dude, that one black dude that works in the Empire. Like, we haven't seen that one dude who lost his ferric territory since like the earliest episodes. And now we have the limo driver talking to him in the office like, yeah, nah, there's something going on. Like, they was arguing about the taxes and clearly they looking into their money. Yeah, they have had some things going on. So I have issues with it because there's open-ended stuff that, like, to me doesn't get answered. So when Mon Mothma is leaving the party, she's in the limo ahead of her husband. She's faking a little attitude. He gets in the joint. She accuses him of gambling. You're gambling again. No, I'm not. Somebody's lying to you. You know, whatever, right? And all that. She asks for privacy. You get to hear Slim listening in. You know what I mean, to the conversation. So immediately, obviously, you know he's working for somebody, but we don't know who. We don't know who sent him. We don't know how he got there. You know, we've all had our suspicions specifically about the husband, you know, in some way throughout this, but she basically perfectly set him up, right? Like, set the husband up, like, you gambling and da-da-da, whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. She figured it out. She don't even need Slim. Like, when they go looking at that money and where that money went, they just gonna be like, oh, nah, Slim out here gambling and pulling their money and blah, 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 whatever. So I'm like, cool. Then, like, 30 minutes later, you show her having her daughter still meet the dude who's supposed to be supplying the money. And I'm like, I thought we figured this out. I thought we was blaming the husband. I thought Slim was going down for it. I thought she really didn't care. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It kind of seemed dumb. Like, I don't know why. Like, there's a plot point somewhere that just kind of seems
missing.
They got left on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about that. Like, why did we bother doing the whole thing to set the husband up to make it look like he's the one who's been taking money? Now we have confirmation they're looking into their money, and they have had some weird things going on, whatever. Still, she's gonna go ahead and do this thing she really doesn't want to do and betroth her daughter to this man for the money that she really does. You know what I mean? Like, it just it didn't make sense, and it happened so quick that I was like, why did we even show that? Like, we could have kind of left that out. Like, if they'd have left the part out with her, like, introducing her daughter to him, it'd have felt more complete. I'd have just been looking at it like, oh, okay, she figured it out. She threw Slim way under the bus. We good to go. But I'm assuming that it's like, okay, you might have been able to cover that up, but you're still gonna have to be able to get money from somewhere to continue to do it. But I feel like they should have threaded that needle a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cassian being back on the planet, him sneaking around, and even people who kind of been upset with him being cool about it, because it's like, I'm so sorry about your mother, because his mother was so important. And oddly enough, man, I don't think they really, I guess they did. I don't feel like they did a great job of making his mother seem as important to Ferrex as she was. Like, throughout the series.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that. Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Like,
they didn't show her enough. Yeah, they didn't show her enough on camera. Get too much into the sisters and her and everything to make you believe that, she's revered the way she is among everybody.
Or at least just to say that, she accomplished this task that set this planet up for a positive light. Just even if they did just in passing have mentioned something like that, it could have been a little bit better.
Yeah, again, look, I think there's little pushes throughout episodes leading into this episode, but it really kind of just more or less, until you see the Daughters of Ferrex thing, and like the last episode, when they take the body, up to that point, it's like, yeah, you just kind of see the people who were friends of Cassian going in to try to take care of her because she's sick and nobody else is there, and it just kind of feels like family and friends kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily seem like this town, these people on this planet feel like they owe an allegiance to her because she's a very high-ranking person, until the conversation with Dedra, and they say, well, they asked for a permit, or whatever, and she decides to give them the permit. So, again, like, there are things that just kind of didn't point, but since we're here, all right, let's push it. The interactions with Cinta and Vel, I thought were cool. Like, I think that Luthen showing up and finding Vel and them having that moment, be like, nah, he's here because
you see what's going
everybody,
on.
Like,
you see what's going on right now.
Like, the whole empire tripping right now. Like, he's here somewhere. You know what I mean? I did like that they, gave Dedra the moment to kind of speak back and forth, saying, hey, everybody with the Anto Krieger joint, everybody did. Nobody survived it. And she's like, yo, somebody needs to be there telling them that, like, dead bodies don't talk. Like, we need information. And Slim's like, nah, you get somebody alive. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
This joint's a wrap. We good. So they did kind of do a good job of clarifying, okay, that went south. Krieger's out. Luthen's kind of in the clear as far as that's concerned, because obviously that worked. And so the Empire feels the need to kind of relax a little bit. And now they can focus on, all right, Andor is the thing, right? So they clear that plot point up. I felt good about that. It was quick, but it's done, right? And they did that in conjunction with, finding out about her kind of happened in like one fell swoop. and then they're making it clear, like, all right, well, you have to go and get Andor, and you need to bring him in alive. And so the tension that exists in the episode is she wants him alive. Luthen and his people want Slim dead, right? He ain't supposed to be there at all. So you have people who know he's there. People, hey, listen, hey, that little dirty black dude, dog, who was all like, if you know something,
don't leave me out of it.
Leave me out of it. You're a liar, dog. I don't blame you.
You know what else pissed me off was after Andor had the conversation with the dude from last episode, trying to say, deliver this message to my mom or whatnot. He said, don't mention my name. And he still mentioned his name. It's still afterwards in this episode in the beginning. He's still using it. Like, granted, he's not making reference to the message, but he's still saying Cassian. Like, yo, shut up.
Don't speak my name in these parts anywhere,
shut
bro.
up. Like, and then when he posed, like, yeah, if you know something, don't say, like, stop talking about Cassian.
Hey, dog.
Keep my name out your mouth.
Hey, Slim weak.
And he got body. He do
telecom. Yeah, he did. He did. Hey, dog, a lot of people bit it. Like, it was real. Look, when I seen my man making the bomb, like, I was with it 100%.
Yeah.
Like, they killed his pops. He in that joint. As soon as I seen him tinkering, I was like, oh yeah, something about to blow up. Yeah. I knew that immediately. I was like, okay, something blowing up.
I was just waiting to see what it was.
Yep.
Exactly. And I thought it was gonna go a little sideways, but who knows? You know what I mean? It's weird because, again, he's young and he's angry, and he doesn't have a plan. He just has a bomb. Yep. And there's something I like about that, though. Like,
because taste of revenge that he was just trying to get right.
Yeah, he goes to the joint. He doesn't do anything or whatever until it's already set off. You know what I mean? And
I thought the bomb was going to be the set off.
Marva's message being like, F the Empire.
Yo, straight up.
People being like, yeah. And Slim being like, I need my coat. Let me put my coat over this projector. Like, and then being like, nah, dog. And they just started bodying Slim.
The Empire was looking like, hey, somebody need to shut that droid off.
The moment, listen, 100%, one of my favorite things about this episode is that from the grave, Marvel was knocking dudes out. Slim was using her brick to body dude left and right. He was swinging. And I'm listening in my head. I'm like,
the first dude that caught it, I was like, damn.
Hey, dog, it was the Captain America shield throw of the series, dog. It was like, somebody has to get it. And I'm just hoping, like, oh my goodness, dog, please don't break her brick.
I know.
You know what
I was
saying?
Like a little respect. I get it. It's like using this as a little revenge tool. Cool. Don't break it though. Like,
yeah, like, but I was a little concerned.
I will tell you, this has probably been the best batch of stormtroopers I think the Star Wars universe has ever produced.
Hey, dog, it was all close-up battles, bro. We're not giving them no.
It don't matter. It don't matter. They were hitting targets.
It matters.
They were hitting their targets and they were bodying.
Stormtroopers generally don't get close, and when they do, they go. Yeah, that's real bad. Do that again. All right. Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Clip of that, bro.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and grab that. We about to change the logo. Loading snacks. So I mean, look, the way that it builds, bro, like, honestly, here's what I like. One thing we didn't talk about throughout the series is how every opening crawl, if you will, is different. The music is different every time. And this time when they did the opening, as they reveal Andor's name, you hear, like, it's the instruments that they played when they did the funeral march, right? And so as there's something about them kind of getting ready and doing the funeral march, and them just being like, we don't really care what permit it. Like, I hear them talking about, we only gave them a permit for 30 people. Hey, dog, everybody
was in that.
They was like, hey, it's everybody, and they coming from everywhere. Like, what do we do?
Count. I don't know how they counted to 30.
Hey, dog, listen, they just was like, hey, it's They're 30 might be different in the Star Wars universe. I don't know. You know what I mean? They
But it
use
seems
credit,
like-
they use dollars. Who knows?
I feel like the reason that happened, because it seemed like the funeral started way before the time that it was supposed to start. Because it
It
seemed like,
did.
yeah, because it
I don't know
caught
if
the
it was
Empire
way before, but it definitely was earlier than.
enough to keep the Empire off guard, where they had to rush and get people in
Scramble,
place,
yeah.
get your weapons.
But here's the thing. I think the issue was that they were only supposed to be in this one road. They were only supposed to be on this Rick's road,
Mm-hmm.
and they were coming from everywhere, and that it was more than 30 people. And here's what I like. There's things I liked and didn't like about it. What I did like about it is it shows a little more of that Empire hubris, right? That they're like, we only gave them a permit for 30 people, and they're just like, and they're gonna do what we said. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't believe that there's enough defiance in these people to not follow those directions intently. This is what time they get to start. This is how many people they get. That's it. We got a garrison that's by the whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as they start to realize, like, Slim starts crushing on the anvil, and they like, what is that? Everybody else knows. All the people who's supposed to know. You know what I mean? And they like, what's going on? I don't know. They looking, hey, they coming from everywhere, right? And he's, the dude is like, hey, get me such and such squad over here and bring this squad over here. Everybody come. Because they weren't prepared for it. Because, again, that Empire hubris that, you know what I mean, has been talked about throughout the series is just, they thought they had it on lock. That's just,
I think
what
one
it
of my
is.
favorite moments is when that officer finally took. I was like, well, somebody go get that guy.
Somebody get Slim out the tower. Yeah.
He was cranking, had everybody turned up.
Hey, dog, I thought they were going to shoot the gun.
So did
I thought they were going to shoot the tower.
Like, y'all gonna run up there to the man with the hammers. Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I feel like the intention was to do that, and then Slim threw the bomb, and that threw everything else off. Like, if I recall correctly, he threw the bomb like right after they did that. Like, as they kind of started pushing and shoving, so it was like, hold the line, hold the line.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's just they weren't prepared for it because they didn't think they were gonna need to be prepared for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that.
They underestimated them. Yeah.
Is a thing I liked about it. What I didn't like, I mean, I guess really it just kind of felt like, again, you have some of the problems with the Empire, right? You have these opposing forces where Dedra's coming in, and they're like, yeah, we got so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. We got a containment unit. We got snipers here, here, and here. And she's like, yeah, containment, yes. Snipers, no. Get them out of there. I need them alive, blah, blah, blah. And they like rolling their eyes like, hey, man, we gonna kill Slim. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, they're not on the same page. And I think that kind of speaks to, again, some of where the Empire is just as a whole. Of like, again, you just had a conversation with the higher ups, and nobody survived the Anto Krieger joint. They just went in there, joint, and murdered everybody. Why would you do that, right? We need to be able to talk to them to figure out what's going on and know what they're doing, right? So far, the only person I feel like they've managed to successfully interrogate are Cyril and maybe Bix. Because I'm still not positive Bix gave him anything.
Yeah.
Like, her mind is like, it's just
it. Right? And dude's father, who he didn't survive. So either whatever they did to him, well, he did survive, and then they were supposed to hang him. So we never see that happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude specifically asked for permission to hang him. We never see that happen, but it must have, obviously, right? Because Slim is building the bomb. Right? So, but I imagine they at least got enough information to know they needed to get Bix, which again, that whole run is still kind of tricky. Again, I kind of like the way all of that happened. Once the action starts, I love the how tense the funeral march is. Just slow and methodic. And I feel like even then, the Empire, like, all of the troops are there kind of not, because they're really not doing anything. You know what I mean? They're moving slow. It doesn't seem like it's anything bad. Yes, they're breaking the rules of maybe the permit you gave, but like it's really no need to like trip, but they wanted, specifically they're saying like show of force. We need people out here, show of force. Don't let them come past this point. We need to like establish that we're in charge here, you know, kind of thing. So once Marva gives her speech, which again, saying I agree, I think it might be the best speech in all of Star Wars. It actually might be the best speech in all of Star Wars. That thing about that firing you, y'all sleeping. Like basically, dog, it was very much what's happened to us over the last couple of years. Please keep in mind that this was filmed in 2020. They shot this 2 years ago. Man, this is all old. So the idea of that woke movement, that's all she's talking about, is like being woke. She's saying, y'all sleeping at the wheel. And while you sleeping, this is what they doing. You know what I mean? And when you're sleeping, they're still working. So her delivering that message, you know, you finally get a little bit of a flashback of Andor spending some time with his father, you know, and learning something from him. It was very brief. Again, there's a lot of that in this episode where there's like these really brief moments where they don't completely touch on it. They just give you a little bit and then they bounce out. You know, immediately, you know, Andor knows what's going on. He sees Luthen, right? He doesn't see Vela, but he knows what's up. You know what I mean? I got something I gotta do. I have a high appreciation for him being like, we can't just leave Bix. Like, I gotta go get her, right? Yeah. And literally his man, Basso, big man as they were calling him. You know, when they meet, one, who let them know that somebody was on to them? Because when you have the one dude that works for the Empire that's pretending that he's one of them for whatever reason. Like, I don't understand why that happened or why he's there or why he's doing that. Because he really could just be like, yeah, we out here and I'm watching. And it seemed like everybody knows. I don't know. Like, Senta clearly knew. So I would think that the people who live there know, like, Slim, you're not
from here. You're not one of us.
But nonetheless, he's watching Marva's door or whatever, sees Slim come out, and he's like, that's not him. They got her. Where is he? We gotta find him. How does he know he's being watched?
I don't know.
Like they don't give you anything that lets him know. Like, it just kind of happens.
That threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, it means when Andor, it's what I do, bro. You know what I mean? It's kind of what I've been doing. Like, this is, you know what I mean? So at that point, I'm like, all right, we're really about to have it. And I like that we got some fight. I like that Ferris pushed back, that the people were driven to the brink. A lot of people was getting bodied, bro.
Oh yeah.
There were tons of people.
There was casualties.
Losing it. And I appreciate that they went the extra mile to save the young dude that threw the bomb.
They
you know
saw
what I mean?
him.
Like, we gotta clear him out. We gotta get him. And I'm gonna tell you what, I thought they was gonna eat Dedra. The way they was dragging her, it was like a horror movie, bro.
The facts.
That's gonna be one of my other favorite parts. After she does get out of that, Cyril helps her, and she is shaking so uncontrollably. I was like, that's what you get.
Dog, I feel like she's never experienced anything like that in her life.
No,
even though she's a supervisor, you know, she's behind the scenes constructing plans or doing whatever it is. She's never been like on the front lines. She's never been any of this type of stuff. So like that was just
right. She just talked though. She's Cyril. She's exactly what Cyril was when Cyril got there the first time. So now Cyril is the battle-hardened person or whatever that comes to save her. And I'm gonna tell you what, I hate their interaction. I absolutely hate it. I hated it. He grabs her, takes her in that, like, all right, so y'all gonna Y'all about to have sex right now?
No,
What
I
y'all
thought they
doing?
was
What's
about to
going
get
on
it
here? I don't like this.
During
I don't
the
know.
battle, I don't know. There was that tension there that they were like, you gonna do this now?
I don't like it.
You
say
back, man?
you. I get it. I got you. All right, what happened to the let's go find Andor? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, his man who gave him the info in the first one, I don't know why they traded hats. I don't know what that was supposed to mean on the train. I don't know what kind of trick that is. I don't know what kind of signal that's supposed to be.
I didn't get that. Like, at first I thought whether it was maybe there's a message that they're just not trying to say and it's in the hat, but they just left it. I was like,
same way.
Okay.
I wasn't with it. It was dumb.
There we go.
I feel better now.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Like, here, come on. He's gonna say it any second now.
It was dumb. And you know, his man just kind of like sits down. He just sits down and like has a drink or something, like on the steps, like, all right, I guess fight's over. And you know, and like his man is, I don't know if you recognize him. He's in the movie, in The Batman, he was like the chief of police. He was the dude that was like yelling at, he was the one that was yelling at Gordon for bringing Batman into the joint.
Okay.
Same dude. You know, I like it. It's still a little all over the place. You know what I mean? The episode, and I just, again, there are things that I feel like didn't make sense. There are things that I feel like they just left, you know, kind of on the table. And I still don't know who Luthen is. I don't know what his abilities or capabilities is. I don't know why he does what he does. I don't have any backstory on Slim. You gave me nothing. And I don't know where Vel and Cinta are. You gave me nothing. I don't know what happened to them, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I'm glad that we got some of his people onto a ship and out of there. Cool. B2 is safe. That made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted the droid to be all right. I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know if this happened in the intro to all of the rest of the episodes, but you know how they do like the Star Wars like intro crawl where they show the flashing lights in front of all of them. B2 is the last one that they showed.
I think they just did that for the last one. Maybe
I don't remember him being in the other one.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was. I feel like maybe he created a connection with people. They're like, okay, let's go ahead and throw him in.
It's
like,
official.
Or at least making this mean like he's gonna be somehow like relevant. Maybe not like the R2D2 level type thing, but I don't know. Like,
yeah, look, I mean, he might be the new BB-8 with very little screen time. You know? So yeah, I just, for this episode, right? I think what we do get in terms of like, all right, it's going down. We having a fight, civil war. It's popping off on the planet. Casualties. The Empire's losing people. Stormtroopers are getting dropped. You know, Ferrex people are getting punished. People are running and trying to escape. And then there's like this just calm. Like people are just walking, like it just ends and it's over. And I'm like, all right, so they're not locking people up. They not just like, you know what I mean? Like the fight is just kind of ends. I guess because Bix and Andor got out. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I really did appreciate that. Like Marva's message kind of hit everybody. I feel like what helped Bix kind of fight whatever effects had happened to her are kind of pushed off by the camaraderie of Ferrex, the sound of the anvil, the sound of the music, the people kind of pushing back, and then Marva's speech, right? She clearly is still hurt when he comes to get her, and she's like, nah, they gonna be mad. Like they gonna be mad, and I can't make them mad. He's like, look, ain't nobody out here. We gotta go. It just, man, once he gets them, when he gets them on the ship and they leave and he goes back, I'm like, it's on now. My man about to go find Dedra. We about to go punish Cyril. You know what I'm saying? We about to go, what's up? Where's Center? Like, we about to have a whole thing. Let's do it.
None of it.
Blue balls, bro.
None of it.
I'm not like, we show Luthen going back to the flyest ship in Star Wars. I've just decided. This is my
the
best ship in Star Wars. That joint is a beast. We see him get back on the ship, and I hear him give instructions, and them instructions just don't pop off.
Nope.
Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, somebody on the ship with him." Was like,
I already knew it was Andor.
It's Andor. Yeah, like he's on the ship.
I mean,
I just don't know how he found the ship first. I like.
Well, he knows the ship because he's been on it. And he's probably familiar with. He knows where it was parked last time. Like Luthen even though Luthen is good at what he does, he is still a creature of habit. And so it probably was pretty one. Like, if you look at where they are, like to spot that ship out there somewhere, who knows? Now I have a hard time believing. I don't know how Andor got there before he did. Andor doesn't have a speeder bike I'm aware of, but whatever. Like, okay, you know what I mean? So for it to just be like, you came here to kill me, huh? Yep, you ain't make it easy. I'm about to make it easy for you. There's the pistol. Kill me or take me in. Now, here's the problem I have with that line. Take me in made it sound like he was telling him to turn him into the Empire. Like, make him the scapegoat, right? And clearly he's not going to do that, because if he does that, the whole reason why he wants to kill him is because he don't want him to talk. So it took me a second to realize for real that what he meant was,
bring me under your wing.
Kill me or teach me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was a terrible choice of words.
It was.
That was terrible.
If that's what it was, like, which I do agree with you that's most likely what it was. It completely sounds the other way. Like, no, take me in, get me locked up, yada yada.
Yeah.
That's how it completely comes off. Ugh.
And Luthen just kind of smiled. And I feel like it was just one of those things where, like, you're supposed to feel like, okay, this is the joint that popped off that made Cassian say, I gotta go fight. This is what I'm here for. Why you wouldn't just say that to Luthen? Just show up. Look, I know you came here to kill me. I'm in this. They killed my mother. They killed my father. They blah, blah, blah. They, whatever. Let's take it to them. I just didn't like.
No.
I didn't like the way it felt completely uneventful, the way it ended, and I feel like it's supposed to feel more powerful. Like, it was literally just like oh man, wait till next episode. But there is no next episode.
Yeah, there's no episode.
Right? And so clearly the intention is for there to be another season.
Which I'm good with.
Are you though, Jokes?
I don't like, maybe this is just for me, like I don't want to say that it was a cliffhanger, but because there were so many things that were just not answered, that were kind of left on the floor, that's kind of why I'm like, okay, we know there's going to be a season 2, so we'll get, because I don't think this goes past a second season. I feel like I think 2 seasons of this will kind of, it depends on what type of time jump or whatever they do, because I think we
I don't think it goes past 2 seasons either.
Yeah,
Joke,
I don't
right about that, but
I don't think it goes past 2 seasons.
I think my issue is that I don't feel like we got a good solid close on this season. Like if you're planning to do a second season, right? And it's not already written in stone, and we as viewers don't technically know, you haven't announced that there's another season or whatever yet. Whatever. Like, even if they've announced it, if you're watching and you don't know that they've made this announcement, you still have to put a solid cap on the season we're in. And there are so many open lines left, right? Again, where did Bix and crew go off to? What happened to Senta and Senta straight up shanked my man.
Bro,
what?
What?
Put him down.
My man said, you. She said, yup, me. I got
Gang, gang.
you know what I mean?
Pulled it up. I'm like, oh.
Moments between her and Vel where like Vel loves her, she doesn't care that Vel loves her.
No.
And, you know, like step away from the window, and she just kind of turns and looks at her, and it's like, all right, are we gonna have a moment? Are we gonna discuss something, or this is just like, all right, this is our last joint, so we cut the love scene from the movie, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And you know, even at the end, like, all right, they packing up, so you know they're packing up. Vel obviously got there somehow. I don't know how she got there. I don't know where her ship is. Obviously, Cinta got there somehow before that. They didn't come in with Luthen. So we see them packing up. But that's it. And she's like, this too. And she's like, everything has to go. And she's like, you're bleeding.
Not my blood.
Nah, ain't mine.
Not my blood. And then she looks at her, and it's kind of like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Is it like, Vel, did you not know I was this thug? You know what I'm saying? Or are you like,
did you kill somebody?
And the anger
again?
of it, like,
We
she just
talked
keeps
about
pulling
that.
away, like, I'm good, Slim. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't understand.
Cinta gives off the vibe that she does not care about her whatsoever. She's all about the mission.
Not at
It
all.
seems like they had, like, there was that relationship in the beginning, but as getting into like little small things.
No,
But
there's
as
a part of me that feels like Vel is only in it because Cinta's in it. Like, she is almost following her in it, even though technically Vel's supposed to be the leader. You know what I'm saying? Of it. Like, not that she only believes in it because Cinta believes in it, but that she just is like, she kind of got caught up in the throes of it, right? And like romanticizing the idea of it all. And for Cinta, it's just like, nah, dog, I got a thing to do.
And I think when they had all that downtime on the planet, just watching, gathering information, all that kind of stuff, when they were like really in the thick of things like that, it was easy to probably get lost into the romanticization where we say like about everything. But now once things is kicked off, it's I'm on mission. Like that's what we're here to do. We're not here for none of that other make house and all that kind of stuff. No,
right. And it's like for Cinta, the mission ain't about to ever end.
Nope. Yeah.
It is 125%. It's go time. It's go. I'm here for the thing. Yep, like he here because when I see him, like there's a part of me that really no bull believes that shank was meant for Andor.
Oh, it was. Oh, it was.
She was going to drop Slim.
And he was going to get caught because he was going to be like, "Hey, Sydney, gang."
Yeah.
What's
no
up?
He wouldn't have got caught because he'd have been like, Cinta, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, Cinta don't have no business being on his planet. Like, he would have figured that. He'd have known what was popping.
Kept his distance a little bit from.
She would have had to creep on Slim. You know what I mean? And to catch him for real. But, yeah, man, I think, look, for as much of the elements as I enjoyed of what happened in the episode, the flashes of like, all right, here's a quick answer for this, and that doesn't even really answer it, and it actually makes more questions. It felt empty. Like the ending felt empty. Like it's like there was a climax. Like it was getting there. There's a fight, and things are blowing up, and people are getting shot, and people are running around, and like
we just didn't.
Cyril runs and grabs Dedra. What does that mean? What are we doing? What's happening now? Right? Dude is mad, you know, and he's got a plant on Mon Mothma. What is he doing? Is he trying to do something to Dedra behind the scenes still? They told her in the beginning, watch your back because whatever, and we haven't seen any of that play out at all. So what are we doing until this very little tidbit that, you know, he's got this plant on this other planet that maybe he's, you know what I mean, trying to tie some of his own things in the background so he can outdo her or something. Like, I don't, like that just kind of fizzled. You know, we know that Luthen's plant is there, and we get to see him just be like, yep, nope. Everybody died. Ain't nobody to say nothing, right? All right. It felt so much of it in the end ended up open-ended, and it didn't give us anywhere near enough answers for it to be the last episode.
Agreed.
And so, even though I enjoyed a lot of what happened, for this to be the finale, I'm gonna tell you what. This is the weakest after credit scene I've ever seen.
It just, I feel like it was just to obviously we knew where, I guess, to see where the story's going. Like, I guess this is now, that was the catalyst to make the link towards Rogue One at this point now. So
no, Andor's the catalyst to make the link to Rogue One.
Well,
we know what we're doing. We know where we are.
This was the show they were working on when they were in prison or whatever.
Which they could have done in the first time they showed the prison.
Yeah.
And it would have been like, all right. Because what else could they be doing?
Right. At that point, when they were building, so I think I said, were they building like the Star Destroyer? Like, we knew that it was something major. I didn't think that this was actual components for the Death Star. At
I did.
I think I said Star Destroyers is what I was on at. It just seemed like the parts they were making were very minor in comparison to the size of the Death Star.
They were very minor.
But when you
That's
put
why they had
all those
so
together,
many
together.
people doing it.
Yeah, when you put them all
That's why they
together,
weren't letting anybody leave.
Y'all
dog.
building this Death Star.
yeah, with Lego pieces.
They just like, again, you're building this. Because look, the question has always been like, how did they build the Death Star? Mind you, there's more than one of these joints.
Leftover parts.
This ain't the only Death Star, bruh. So, all right, they built the Death Star with slave labor, prison camp labor. Got it.
Sounds about right.
They're literally putting the finishing pieces on it, though. Like, they're building the death part of the Death Star. Like, they're building the death part of the Death Star.
The really bad part.
It's and you see how small this piece is. Like, how small,
right.
even though they're giant when they're building them, you see how small and insignificant it seems as they're doing it. So what? Like, for that to be the after credit scene for the end of the season,
for season 2,
for the thing that pretty much everybody guessed, like, oh snap, I bet you they're building the Death Star. Okay, so they're building the Death Star. So now what? It's not like Andor has some kind of inside knowledge. We were building the Death Star. This is what they're doing, and this is how it works. And this is.
I can't wait to see that facial expression when he realizes finally what it was they were building.
I don't think he ever does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. And look, it would seem to me that the prison break didn't hurt them.
Not in the slightest.
They were still building. But again, this can't be the only facility where they're doing it.
No, I'm pretty sure when they first, wasn't there like an overhead shot when they first got to the prison? Where
it's like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
there's somewhere else too, because
they could be doing the same thing on other planets, like all over the place. Like, who knows? I gotta wait for another season to get. Like, I don't know, bro. I felt extremely let down. I'll put it to you this way: when Andor put them on the ship, and they were like, "He'll come back," and he was like, "I'll come back. I'll find you." Right? One, that scene was a little too long. Like, you did it twice, and it just didn't seem necessary or whatever. But like, when he jumped off that ship, I was at like an 8. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, we about to go do something. Let's go do something." And then we didn't do nothing.
Nope.
Bruh, nothing happened.
Not a thing. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing happened, dog. Nothing happened.
She said her speech. They rioted for a little bit. The end. Like,
yeah, nah. Everybody on Ferrex getting bodied. I don't.
Ferrex is probably going to be the test planet for the Death Star.
Hey, bro, they're going to take those ridiculous sounds they were using to torture Bix, and they're just gonna play them joints out of the tower where the anvil
Right.
is for the whole town. They gonna wrap everybody up. Like, it just, I don't know, dog. Like, it didn't. When he showed up on the ship, I was like, oh, okay, showdown, what we about to do? I'm waiting for Luthen to pull out a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Or like make this dude, like, he sees the gun. I'm like, he gonna make that joint float, bro. He got powers. Like, he picked it up and he looked at it. Oh, all right. What we gonna do? We're not gonna do nothing. He just gonna smile a little bit. All right.
Great build up to the episode.
As soon as that happened, dog, my whole joint, that 8 was like, oh, this is 6. That's what we doing? It's over. And so then I was like, all right, I know what they doing, because when the credits started rolling, the screen didn't shrink.
Disney didn't shrink. It already knew that, so that's why
I was like, all right, after credit, here we go. We about to get them 2 points back.
Yes,
nope. Might have lost.
We got bad, like, Xbox 360 CG of the Death Star being built. What?
Too waste of time.
And I'm gonna tell you what. Before the episode started, I looked at it. I saw the episode was 55 minutes. I said, oh, okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I always do that now. Like, before I even watch the episode, I go
anything
look
I watch, I look at the time.
So it is.
Nah, dog, didn't happen for me. So I'm it's a 6, dog. I can't, like, it just.
I have been talked down to a 6, remembering some of the stuff.
I can at least get to the 7. Yeah. Like, I enjoy, like, there was just pieces and elements of this that I think, just like you said, they were well put together, but like the climatic battle of what it should have been, just outside.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, jokes, but let me ask you a question, dog. Like, you ever, like, go, like, to get some food, like, I don't know, funnel cake, ice cream or something, like, you ready, like, you like, oh, I'm about to crush this joint, and just spill the whole plate, whole joint just hit the floor? You ever just have that, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you ready to crush, like, oh my God, I've been waiting, like, you had a hard day at work, you come home, get your food, everything, oh my goodness, I'm about to crush this down, and as you walk into the table, you about to sit down, and that joint just, you know what I'm saying, or like, you having a great day, you know what I mean, you got your fly gear on, you ain't done, you about to go to the mall and hang out, go to the movies, you looking fresh, people like, hey dog, I like your shirt, blah, 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 you sit down in the food court, eat your little food, and you little squirt, just get all on your joint, now you know you gotta walk around the mall looking like that for the whole rest of the day. Like, have you ever had where, like, everything was going well, like, it's just great, here it is, dog, and just had that joint just tank? It just makes it worse. It's like when you're aiming to complete something and it just doesn't. I don't know, bruh. It's having one shot left in the chamber and one enemy left on the field, and you miss the shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that feeling of like I probably could have left it at, like, I'd be okay at a 7 if the ending wasn't so flat, and then you hype me up again, like, oh, okay, I get it, you saving it for the after credit. Hey dog, if you don't get, that joint was, it was an absolute letdown, right? And so that idea of it, like, building and kind of like it just, I'm at a 6, dog. I can't, because it's worse now because it ended so flat. If Andor had gotten on the ship with him and left
with him,
It would have been a much stronger ending if he had got. I'm like, bet he got away, right? Then show Luthen like we got to track him down, or whatever, or let him radio dude and be like, listen, they killed my mother, they did blah blah blah, whatever. Like, I gotta get down. You know what I'm saying, or something, dog. Like, I don't know, bruh, but like it fell flat at the end, and
that's all there's to say about it. It just did. It didn't. What the end was supposed to be, it just didn't land it whatsoever. They dropped the ball.
It wasn't there. It's like enjoying every song on the album, and the last song on the album is whack.
I feel like when you get to the season finale or something, you like once it's over, you at least sit there for a few minutes, like
kind of like
contemplate what it was. No, when the second one was over, I was like, all right, we're right back to the switch. Like, that's how they're gonna end it. Whatever. Like, this is, I don't got time for this.
Jokes. Give me your thoughts on the season as a whole.
The season as a whole, I'll say okay. Like, I wouldn't say this was the groundbreaking Star Wars things that we could have had, but I would definitely say it was good to see a different side to the Star Wars universe. Not having Jedi or whatnot ever, and kind of knowing this was the beginning of the rebellion that we've known to see for years. So I'm gonna say, as a whole, it was okay. I had a few issues at points in time, but I will say it was okay.
Would you rewatch it?
I feel like I would, from the standpoint of what we do, I feel like I would rewatch to see if I missed something. But if I wasn't doing that, I don't think I would. I think I got what I needed from it.
Sin.
Y'all know I've been running this on an average of pretty much a 6 the whole time, and it's still there about a 6 for me. I think it's just okay. The issues I have with are still the same. I think it's boring in a lot of parts. I don't think the story's bad in any like sort of way. I just think that it's just boring for the most part. Like most of the characters to me didn't have any just seasoning to them. They were just kind of bland to me. That was a turn off. As far as would I watch it again, I would most likely watch it in the anticipation of season 2. Like right before like season 2, I would watch it just to get refreshed and all that type of stuff. Because yes,
that was gonna be a question for me. I was gonna ask you.
Yeah. So I would watch it just to get ready. Outside of watching it just to get ready so we can get ready to talk about season 2, I would only watch it again if somebody asked me to watch it who's never seen it before. Like, sure, we can put it on. But other than that, I wouldn't go back to it.
I wouldn't do that. If somebody hadn't seen this, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't watched Andor. You want to watch Andor?" I'd be like, "Nah, you don't need to."
It depends on how pretty she is.
Nah, because I can think of way better things to do with somebody pretty than watch Andor.
We'll get to that.
You can sum it up for like, listen,
this
is where it started.
We can watch Rogue One again if you've seen that already, or we can watch any season of Mandalorian if you want to do that. But like, again, like I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars. I appreciate Star Wars for what it is, and I think that there's a lot of lore out there. This season of this show, I think it lacks polish. I think that there are a lot of good elements there. I think this is the first thing I've watched where I felt like, I think this is the first time I felt like this would actually be better as a comic book or as a graphic novel than it is as a show. I just, and look, again, look, when we have these kind of conversations, in no way am I ever trying to, I mean, I talk a lot of trash, but like, in no way am I ever trying to sully the hard work of the people that put this together, right? From writers to showrunners to editors Like, the music is great. The sound and sound design is incredible. I think there's maybe been one episode where like, dog, Mon Mothma, bro, when she's sitting in the car waiting for her husband to come in, like, that whole,
Oh yeah,
like, I was like, dog, she's so fly, bro. Like, they put so, like, I don't want to take away, and maybe some of that comes from, like, everything else in Star Wars tends to be so bland, so flat, right? Everything about the Empire is flat, black, white, gray, flat, like, kind of just straight lines, just, and the Rebel is so brown and orange and green and dirty and just kind of whatever. And, like, until you see, like, Coruscant and, like, fashion and, like, people, you know what I mean? Like, until you see that kind of stuff, like, it all kind of melds together. If you look at the picture behind Jokes, everything on Andor is exactly the same color. Just
gray
and brown, bro. And it's all the same color brown. Dog, his hair, his mustache, his eyebrows are all the exact same color as
they had a color scheme. They had a palette they wanted to use.
I get it, right? There's a theme there, but it's so bland, right? There's no pop. And that is exactly how I feel about this show. This season of this show is exactly like Andor's outfit in that picture behind you. It's very one note. It just feels one note. And there are these very brief pops, like there's a little fire in the background of the joint behind you, Jokes, and there are these very brief pops of, like, okay, maybe we could do something, maybe we'll get there, but there's not enough of it to make it feel fantastic.
Gotcha.
Right? And it doesn't go deep enough to satisfy my need for the intrigue and the overlap. Like, again, Sin, when you talk about Game of Thrones and really being into it, it goes deep enough that you understand everybody's ties to everybody else's ties, and every move they make is exciting, even when they're not doing anything. They're just talking because you know what it means for everything else. So it's like the show doesn't go deep enough
to get to that level.
Game of Thrones to hold me that way, and it doesn't go high enough from an action or a fantastic standpoint to hold me there. It's very middle of the road. And so it's like, it's a 6-7 at best. And I'll be honest, I'd have a hard time recommending somebody spend 12 hours watching this for what you get at the end. If somebody hasn't seen this, unless you are a die-hard Star Wars fan, and if you are, you already have Disney Plus and you already watched it. So I couldn't recommend this to somebody. I don't think it does.
It just hit me. Something else that was difficult. I meant to mention. I forgot. But I'm mad that they never got back to his missing sister. Like, they started off with that being like a big thing.
Other than Marva saying, like, stop looking for her.
Yeah, like, but it never comes back around. Never gets answered. One of the other things that we mentioned that just another thing open ended that never gets resolved.
He is apparently the last person of his kind, period. He is the only surviving person from his planet, period. He's the last one. That's it. They don't really make a big deal about that. They don't really, again, it just, there are, you're right, there are just these threads, these plot points that, and again, listen, this is not to sully the work that people did, because I do think, I listen, I think he does a great job of being Andor, right? I think a lot of the acting is great. I think a lot of it is spot on. I think there's a lot of heart and a lot of stuff put into it. I do think that there are things about this show that are just pure victims of 2020, right? Like, I watched the interview the other day, and it was the guy who plays Cyril and the lady who plays Dedra. were together doing an interview. And you know, this interview was from like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And like he got the full beard. Like he looked like a completely different person. You know what I mean? And they're sitting in there talking about it and talking about their time on it and talking about being like them talking about how crazy it is that like all of a sudden they're like in Star Wars and like people are saying things and talking about them and referring to them and their stuff on Twitter and Instagram and blah 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 or whatever, and like they're becoming memes and just whatever it is, and they're like literally tied to this universe that they love and that they grew up on, and you know they're so proud of their work and being a part of it. And then them talking about what it was like to have done this during the pandemic, like filming and shooting, and literally them saying like, you know, it's crazy because you don't really think about it. Like we've done this other stuff since then. We shot this 2 years ago. And so when you think about the idea that this joint is 2 years old, right? It's new to us.
Yeah.
But it was shot 2 years ago and they had to do whatever it is they had to do to try to make it work or to make it fix. You know what I mean? And maybe it wasn't supposed to be as many episodes, and you know, there could be any number of things. So I do think the show is probably a victim of that. But I can't change what the show is.
Right.
For me, it's a 6, and it makes it really hard for me to recommend it. Like I just don't think that there's enough there to make it worth it to sit down and watch it. That's where I'm at. So having said that, can we put a bow on it?
We can put a bow on it.
Cool. This has been your spoiler boys for the final episode of Andor. If you haven't already checked out our Black Adam discussion, do so. We will have recurring episodes on the new Netflix show Wednesday coming up, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We also, if you haven't already listened to it, there's going to be an episode for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, so please keep in tune for that. And if you're listening to this and you're watching this and you don't already follow us across the socials and you don't know, we do a live show every Tuesday. You can check that out across all of our socials. Please do that as well. With that, we're out. Toodles and loose.
Loading snacks.